All right, we should be live now. How's it going, everybody? Katie here, and I've got Vicky, aka Victoria, aka LV Pink Panther, aka my fiance. I need to add like a few more onto that, right? Hey, you guys, let me know if you can hear us okay, if you can see us all right, so that we know everybody is here with us. I kind of was rushing today because I had to do my measurements for all the 76 items that I photographed yesterday. And so I didn't have as much time to prep for the show as I wanted to, but it's still going to be awesome.
Well, because we are awesome. I'm kidding, but happy Sunday, happy Easter to everybody that celebrates.
Yay! And hopefully all you guys are going to participate in the Boss Up and List virtual listing party that we're doing that is starting tomorrow at noon. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch my video where I explain it, and also join the Boss Facebook group. But it starts tomorrow. It's going to be 12 to 5 tomorrow. With a live show at 2 o'clock. And then on Tuesdays, standard time, 9 a.m. in the morning to 2 in the afternoon, with the live show at 11 o'clock. And then on Wednesday is going to be 3 in the afternoon until 8 at night. And then the live show will be at 7 p.m. And so basically, if you want to participate in that, you're just going to be doing lots of listings on those days. We'll have a dedicated thread to that in the Boss Facebook group so that you guys can make your goals and talk to each other, and hopefully get a lot of listing done, and then watch the live shows and participate in the chat and have fun, and it's going to be really awesome. So I've been prepping for that. You've been prepping for it. And so we got some awesome stuff that we thrifted this week, and we also sold some cool stuff. So we're going to do kind of what we did last week, where we do some solds first, show you some highlights of some of the stuff that we sold this week, and then we'll go into some of the stuff that we found that we're going to be listing this next week. And so let's see, who all do we have here? I see Linda and Lynn and Jennifer, and Seattle Flipper says hello. And Laura can see us and she can hear us. And hey, Broadzilla's in the house. Awesome. That's Dana. And Lorna is here helping us out. And Diana and Kayling. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Kayling98 says hello. And Lauren. All right. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining us. And we're just going to jump right into it because we have a lot of stuff to cover. And hopefully we'll all learn some new stuff. If you have any questions or comments about what we're showing you guys, feel free to put in the chat, and we'll pay attention to what's going on as the other one's talking, so that hopefully we can get anybody's questions answered. Or if you have like some good input to give us, because we don't know everything. So all right, we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and share our screen with you so that you can see what it is that we sold. Let's see if I can get this screen share going correctly. All right, and here we go. And so we're actually going to start with something that Victoria sold.
Okay. So this is just a vintage ski suit. I always pick up ski suits. Doesn't really matter whether it's men's or women's. In this case, this was women's, 80s. It was actually a pretty cool. They're usually fairly difficult to photograph. This one actually photographed better than most do, but a lot of times they're so hard to get a full-length photo of. But in any case, this was a good brand I had never heard of. I actually grabbed it because it was hanging at the end of a rack on my way to the cash register at Savers. This was listed for about 2 weeks. I paid $10 for it, and it sold for $100. So it's vintage, it's neon, it was just kind of cool. There was nothing wrong with it. It had a little schmutz on the back. I didn't want to wash it because it said not to throw it in the washing machine. So I kind of, did a little hand washing. Has some real cool stirrup bottom legs.
Sweet.
Little spandexy really leg going on. It did. It went fast. So it sold for $100. I paid about 10 for it. If I remember correctly, I think it was $12.99, and then it was like 20 or 25% off day. So yeah, it was pretty good.
Very cool. So if you see something that looks ridiculous like this, a lot of times you are going
Lorna said, refresh your screen.
Oh, that is, she's talking to Melissa Carver, who can't see the live video. Yeah, so go ahead and maybe pop out and pop back in again. All right, so now to the first thing that I'm going to share with you guys is this Pendleton wool board shirt. Okay, so Pendleton, here's the thing. Pendleton is not always a good seller. It depends. If it's women's, pretty much pass on it every time, unless it's like crazy cheap. I don't know. Do you have any experience with really selling women's?
Jackets.
Some jackets?
Some jackets, not I have like a wool full length, that red one that I have that was like
Yeah,
really
some
funky.
jackets,
That'll
women's
some
blazers
vintagey stuff. Yeah, blazers,
pass
forget
them
it.
up.
Suits, skirts, shirts, sweaters, forget it.
Now, men's Pendleton is where it is at, and it's not necessarily everything, but board shirts are probably the most desirable when it comes to the shirts. And now what makes it a board shirt is, so it's basically like this flannel shirt, it's 100% wool, but one of the first things that you're going to notice is, here, I'm going to click over here so I can make this large. Notice the pocket flap. There is no button. So when you have a board shirt, Pendleton board shirt, it's not going to have buttons, but it's going to have these pocket flaps. And then the next thing that you're going to see is on the collar. You see the little loop right there. It's actually a little loop that goes over a button, and that's how it encloses. And then the last thing that you'll be able to see is, let's see, if, I don't know if I show it very well in this picture, but the hem, if you look down at the very bottom, so you know how like a dress shirt or a button-down shirt, a lot of times, I guess they call them tails, how it's like longer in the front and the back, and then on the sides it kind of goes up because you're supposed to be tucking them in. A board shirt is going to be straight all the way around because it's not really intended to be tucked in. And these are super popular. And you can sell them for a pretty good amount, especially when they're vintage, but even newer stuff sells. This particular one is vintage, most likely 60s. Definitely at least 60s because you see the wool mark little thing that didn't get added to clothing until the 60s. This one's a tall. I sold it for, actually took an offer for $110. But if you have a board shirt that's a good size, this one's a tall size, I believe, in good condition with no holes, you should be able to sell it for minimum of $100, if not more, depending on like the color and the that's on it. But yeah, so Pendleton. The other one thing to look for, anything Pendleton men's that has like a Southwestern pattern on it, is going to sell really well. Like
jackets.
Jackets especially. And if you like the Big Lebowski, the dude, he is wearing a Pendleton a Pendleton cardigan sweater that's like a really cool print on it, and those sell for minimum a couple $100.
They still make them, but they sell, especially whenever there's something that goes viral, like they just did the resurgence of the Big Lebowski, was the anniversary or something sometime.
They still make that exact same sweater. I actually found an original vintage one at the bins, so I was paying 99 cents a pound, so I literally paid like $3 or $4 for it because it was kind of a heavy cardigan, and immediately sold it to a friend for $200. So, all right, we're going to go to the next one that Victoria sold.
And yes, let's see. Jennifer said like a pajama top. You're right. Like a men's pajama top. It's straight all the way across the bottom.
It's just called a board shirt, Lynn. You were asking what I mean by a board shirt. It's called a board shirt. I don't know for sure. I know it's like popular with like surfers and skateboarders. Maybe that's why they call it. I don't know. Maybe someone else can enlighten us. But that's the term that they use. And so when you are selling one, you'll notice if you go look at Pendleton flannel shirts and look at solds and go from highest to lowest, the ones that sell for a lot of money will say board shirt. And that's specifically what they're talking about. The no button on the flaps, the loop collar, and the straight bottom.
Real popular with the Rockabilly community right now, and also the guys that do like they call it kind of like the low riders. They wear the certain cars. It's kind of like it's a subdivision of like Rockabilly style for guys.
Yes.
Okay, so books can be really good. A lot of people say that books are great, and some people say books are crappy. I don't really buy a lot of books in general. I'm not somebody that goes and scans books in the bookstore. I know that there can be good money in that, and I know a lot of people are successful in that way. It just bores me to tears. So if I have a lot of extra time, sometimes I'll scan a few that look interesting. But in this case, obviously, these were antique or very close to antique. So I think they were 1920 was the oldest one. Obviously, no scanning. No scan marks, but I love antique books. Not all antique books have value, but some do. I probably could have got a little bit more if I held out for these, but these were listed for less than a week. Antique books generally take a long time to sell. They're definitely not auction items for the most part. And I know that we have a few people in the boss group and some friends of ours that might be in my group that I'm in with Lorna that know more about books than I do. But in any case, I do like antique books. So these happen to be all on the shelf together at Savers. I think I paid $2 a piece for them. They were listed for about a week. I sold them for $65. I took an offer for $65. I mean, that was just an easy thing to list, easy to ship, obviously. Yeah, and yes, cookbooks and Bibles do very well. Antique Bibles, I always buy antique Bibles or vintage Bibles. Cookbooks, it really does depend on what the cookbooks are because some sell very well and some are crap.
And I believe someone, Kaling98, asked what the name of the group was, and Lorna was on top of it. The group is Boss, and we are a Facebook group. If you could just look in the description of this video, there is a link, as Lorna just said in the chat. So just follow that link and come and join us there. You'll always have a lot more information about what we're up to, especially when we're doing things like the listing party, Boss Up and List. So please come in there and hang out with us. Join the group. All right, so the next one is one of my sales, and so this is something that I got from the Adidas outlet store. Now, I don't know if any of you have outlets near you. When I was in Oregon, I actually had like a huge outlet mall that was like pretty close to where I live, about 30 minutes away. There's all kinds of different stores that usually have like Polo and Tommy Hilfiger and Adidas and Nike. And I don't really like going to the Nike outlet. I don't feel like they really give you very good deals, not enough to be able to flip. But what I found with Adidas is that they really like to blow out old stock. And so they will have really awesome deals, and they don't really advertise them. It's like a lot of times, even the people who work in the stores don't know what the price is going to be that day. They won't know until like that morning that they're having like some huge sale. But they pretty frequently have like buy one, get one free, or buy one, get one half off sales at the Adidas outlets. And sometimes you can just call, if you call like in the morning, like a Friday morning or Saturday morning, and ask what the sale is for that weekend, they'll let you know. But these particular shoes I bought when they were doing a buy one, get one free, and they were already marked down. So a lot of times they'll do it like, it'll be like color tags. So like they're ones that are like marked down the most are usually like red or orange tags. And then they'll have the buy one, get one free, and those will be included. So these ones were marked down already to $35, and then they were buy one, get one free. So I bought them for less than $20 a pair. I bought several pairs, and I sold these particular ones for $90. And I'm actually sending, I haven't shipped them yet. I'm actually sending them to Japan. So the guy who bought them paid $90 plus $35 to have them shipped to him. So that's just another way to kind of pick up some cool shoes. If you want to get some good deals, always kind of be aware that if you have outlets near you, you should definitely go check them out because it's a good source. I love going there. Plus, I really like Adidas. So, and these are like a really cool Stan Smith kind of snakeskin kind of shoes, and I think they're awesome. So, yeah. So that's that sale. All right. So let's see what's going on over here. They're still talking about books. So, all right, let's go on to the next one for Victoria. This is a very exciting one, you guys. You're going to love it.
All right, so this one's kind of funny. I don't know if any of you happened to listen to my little segment on eBay Radio a couple weeks ago, but when I was talking with Griff and give me a name. What's the girl's name? I just had a blank.
Lee Marable.
Lee, thank you. Sorry, Lee. Anyway, they always go through your store when you're on the show, and they pick out something crazy, and sometimes they buy it and sometimes they don't. They didn't buy this, but we definitely talked about it. So what this is a vintage 1960s speculum, lighted speculum. Not the actual speculum, it's a little device that you would attach the thing to. And anyway, so something I always buy is anything vintage as far as medical equipment, not current, not anything you need a license to sell, not anything you need to have a prescription to sell. Don't be trying to sell a CPAP machine online or anything like that. You can't do that. But vintage stuff is collectible, not because somebody's going to use it necessarily, but because they're going to display it. A lot of places are going to display it. You may have a doctor. This might have been a gynecologist's office that bought this. That might have been a physician. They might have display it on a bookshelf in back of them, something like that. So, and then of course, for other reasons, you definitely have your weirdos and fetishists that like all kinds of weird stuff. But anyway, I bought it for $5 at a swap meet a couple months ago, and I sold it for $89, $69. I can't tell. What was the sale price, babe?
It was, hold on, but this is right here. Not for use of the presence of explosive gases, guys. So you got to be careful, all right? All right, the sale price was
$79.
Yeah, $80.
Yeah, and it fit in a medium flat rate box, and that's how I shipped it.
All right, awesome. How weird. See, I never buy this stuff, but it's because I'm lazy and I don't like to have to like pack up.
The weirder,
big,
the better.
bulky stuff.
I love weird stuff.
I like t-shirts. They go in a bag and take me 2 seconds. Of course, now that I'm here with Vicky, she makes me help her with the really heavy, hard to package up stuff. So it's like
I make her like hold the box so I can get something in it. That's about it.
Anyway, all right, Matt Stoll says hi to us and everybody. Happy Easter. Yes, Lynn, don't pass gas. It's very, very dangerous.
A lamp. Oh, that'd be interesting.
All right. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Okay, I have, so if you guys have been watching my videos, when I went to ASD a couple weeks ago, Market Week, where you could go and meet with all kinds of different vendors and hopefully find some places to get wholesale, pretty much anything you could get there. Sunglasses, makeup, perfume, purses, clothing, chapstick, like it was ridiculous. You can get anything there. And for the most part, I didn't find much to buy, but I did end up buying all of the jerseys that they had at one particular booth. And I ended up with about, it was supposed to be 50 once I got there and bought them. I think it was like 44 jerseys I got. So I got 44 jerseys. I went ahead and, you know, got them all photographed, got everything up and listed. And I think at this point I've sold like 7 or 8 of them. So it's only been a couple weeks, sold 7 or 8 of them. I ended up paying $10 for each of them. So they're not like super, they're kind of like, not really novelty, but like kind of interesting, like throwbacks. And like this one in particular is like a high school throwback. So they're not ones that go for hundreds of dollars. So I paid $10 a piece for them, and I'm selling them all for about $35 to $40. So it's actually, considering how many I got, it's a really good turnaround to be able to quadruple my money. This particular one is Kawhi Leonard. I don't know his name. I don't know basketball, guys, so forgive me. But this is like a throwback of his high school jersey.
Sportsing.
Yeah, it's sportsing. I don't know. I like to play sports, but I don't really like to watch it. You know, I used to be into basketball when I was in middle school and when the Blazers were really hot back in the 90s, early 90s, but I don't really follow it now. Anyway, so, and this, you know, a lot of times people will say like, oh, well, smaller sizes won't sell. But, you know, this is a medium. I sold it for 40. The guy lives in California. He wanted to try and get it by Monday or Tuesday at the latest. He contacted me yesterday afternoon and said he wanted to get this quickly. And so I said, well, you know, you could pay to have it sent express priority. And that's the only way I can guarantee you that it's going to get there when you want it. And so he went ahead and did that. He paid $40 plus he paid $22.95 to have it sent express. So it's a really good idea, you guys, you know, even if you're doing free shipping, which on this particular one, on all of mine, I do free shipping, but this particular one would have gone first class. I wouldn't have shipped it until Monday because I'd already done my shipping on Friday. But because he asked and he wanted it more quickly, I have the option on any first class stuff. They can pay $6.95 more to get it priority or $22.95 more to get it express. And it's a way to give them options if they want to pay up for it. And he did. So he's going to be getting this jersey. And I'm pretty stoked about it. And I'm pretty happy with how quickly I've been able to sell these jerseys. I'm going to have to get some more. All right, so let's move on to the next one. And this is Victoria's.
Okay, so a lot of us sell shoes, men's shoes, women's shoes, whatever. This was a brand more than a type of shoe that I wanted to make some people aware of, and just in case they're not aware of it. These are a pretty boring, basic, somewhat outdated looking classic woman's pump. Not something I would ever wear, but that brand SAS is a high-end brand of shoes. They're expensive. They're the kind of shoes that women are going to buy for the most part that either have bad feet or they're, you know, the orthopedic type of shoes, or they're on their feet all day. You know, think like bank teller on their feet all day and has to wear a conservative business suit, that type of thing. But SAS shoes sell very well. I did have these though. That's a crappy listing. That photo right there. Anyway, I did have these listed for quite a while. They're practically new. They had a little scuff in the back, but I don't think they were ever worn. They were nice leather and they were a strange size. They were really big and wide or something, if I remember correctly. I paid $5 for them and they sold for, what was my, $67. They did fit in a priority flat rate envelope, and that's what I sold them for. Yeah, so they were 8.5 wide. They were not that bad in size, but pretty conservative looking, very basic. Not a shoe I would have picked up necessarily in any other brand, but because they were $5 and I know that this is a good brand, I mean, I sat on them for a while, but $66 out of $5, not so bad.
Not too shabby. And I don't buy women's shoes, and even if I did, I don't know that these would jump out at me. They're pretty plain. They're plain and boring, mm-hmm. And so definitely a good one to look out for as far as brands go. All right. Hey, Pam. Pam's in the house. What's up?
Pam.
And Sin City Hustlers. Hey, Sin City Hustlers. You're here in Henderson, I think, where we are. So that's awesome to see you here. I know you're like a newer seller and you've got a YouTube channel going too. So good luck with that. Matt Stoll says that he also found a Neil Diamond Tour t-shirt. Apparently we're going to go head to head on looking for Neil Diamond t-shirts. Anyway, what else we got here? The Violent Lemon. I can see someone making a lamp out of that. Are you talking about the
speculum? Yep. Well, I mean, there's somebody that makes lamps out of just about everything. What did we find? There's an antique store in downtown Vegas that it's like a really quirky retro antique place, and there's somebody that makes lamps out of everything, and it's pretty funny. There's some really cool funky ones there. Remember we saw them? There's like all different kinds of vintage.
Oh yeah.
They made them
really
out
cool.
of like vintage cameras and all kinds of stuff. It was very cool.
Yep.
I could see that.
Hey George Sharp, nice to see you here. Creating Adorn apparently adores us. Hello.
Well, we are pretty cute.
Yeah, we are. Okay, so last one I'm going to talk about real quick. So this is a Polo Ralph Lauren, pretty basic Harrington jacket. I like to use keywords like Rockabilly. It's not quite a Barracuda jacket, but Barracuda is very similar to Harrington, so a lot of times I'll use both of those keywords. But what was notable about this jacket is I actually sold it to somebody who follows my channel. So I thought that was really cool. They sent me a message and said that they were a subscriber on my YouTube channel. I actually took an offer for $48, I think it's like $48.88. I'm assuming it's a guy. His name is Kyle, so I want to give a shout out to Kyle and say thanks for watching the show. Also, Kyle, I was doing a little bit of stalking and I went and looked and I saw you have a store too. And I gotta say, I'm kind of impressed. You only have like about 200 listings, but I was noticing that you move quite a bit of stuff. Like you sell pretty frequently. You've had a couple hundred sales in the last 90 days, and for only having a couple hundred listings of clothing, I feel like you're selling through your stuff pretty quickly. You're doing something right. And I noticed that you're doing free returns and free shipping, so you are doing things right. So thanks again, Kyle, for buying this. Hopefully you see this video and you get to hear your shout out. All right, yeah, Harrington. This is like a Harrington jacket. The Barracudas are more like they usually have more of a ribbing on the waist and the hem and on the cuffs. But Harrington is a pretty, here, I'll show you the full picture of the jacket.
Dan, the Violent Lemon. See, yes, when you said, I was just going to interrupt you, you called her the Violent Lemon instead of Violet Lemon when you said it. I thought that was pretty funny.
I think
violent lemons at me.
I think Violet's pretty good. Come on. That sounds pretty cool to me. Like a really good band I'd like to follow. All right, so let's get off the screen share real quick here so that you can see us again. And what am I doing? Stop. And here we are. All right. We're back.
And let's see what we have here. So somebody said they just found us. I think it was our Violet Lemon said she just started following us. We've only been doing this for a few weeks, actually. Katie started her YouTube channel probably when she was still in Oregon. So she started her YouTube channel like September, October-ish, and posted very sporadically.
Yeah, it took me a while. Like I had a lot going on. I was in the process of, it was fourth quarter, trying to move my entire life and all of my inventory to Vegas during the fourth quarter. It's ridiculous. It was the dumbest thing and the smartest thing I've ever done. I'm happy to be here. But plus I was just trying to figure out like what I wanted to do with the channel, and it was taking a while to kind of get started. Anytime you have an idea of something that you want to do, sometimes you it's hard to get into the groove of it. And now I kind of feel like I'm hitting my stride, and I know I kind of have a better feel for what I want this channel to be. So as far as the live hauls, this is the live hauls is our second one. Altogether, this is our third haul.
Fourth?
I think.
Fourth haul, I think.
Is it our fourth?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Okay, maybe it's our fourth. Actually, yeah, it is. So it's our fourth haul altogether. So this is definitely gonna be a regular Sunday thing. And
no, I didn't get rid of the blue. It's purple actually, but it fades out a lot faster than the pink. So next week it'll be redone. If you see my roots, I need to do a little maintenance this week. So it'll be back, Cheryl. It'll be back.
Yeah, and Lorna, she lives up in Washington, and she comes to Oregon quite a bit because her boyfriend is from down in Oregon. His parents are there, and so she was really stoked when we became friends because we live close enough to each other that we could see each other somewhat regularly. And then all of a sudden, I up and decide to move to Vegas. So she's a little mad at Vicky for stealing me away. But that's okay because Lauren was just here like a while ago, and she's coming again in like.
She was just here in the middle of February.
What's the countdown? The countdown. We're under 10 days. So.
She was just here in the middle of February, and then she's going to be here
next week.
Next week.
Yay! So she's going to be here next week for I think in like next Monday. So in like 8 days. And we're going to do some thrifting videos together. So we'll do some sourcing, and we're going to do some
countdown.
9 days. So she's going to be here. We're going to do some sourcing. We'll do some haul videos so you guys can see us in action, and that should be super fun. Oh, she was wrong. 8 days. See, I knew what I was talking about. You're coming on a Monday. Anyway, it's Sunday today. All right, so let's get to our haul stuff. You want to start?
Yeah, real quick. Sin City Hustlers, I have been in Vegas. It'll be 5 years in June. I moved from Rhode Island, not Long Island, Rhode Island, East Coast. And Katie moved here in the middle of December.
Yep, in December. Yep. So yeah, packed up, got rid of almost everything except my inventory and packed it all up in the truck and drove it here. So I love it here. Anyway, all right, let's get to our haul stuff. Okay. Show you guys what we found. What are you starting with? Are you starting with?
I'm going to start with some little stuff because I'm going to build up to the good stuff. So, all right. I'm going to start with some little things. This one is, so something I wanted to talk about too is that we all know fashion is cyclical and certain things come back. Something that's coming back is kind of like mom jeans. And I don't mean like the Gitano high-waisted pleated front mom jeans. I mean 90s Gap, Calvin Klein, Levi's, 501s, that type of thing that girls used to wear with the tapered leg, flat front jeans, but they're a little bit more high-waisted. So to that end, I picked up a couple of pairs of Made in the USA, Calvin Klein basic jeans with the tapered leg. And what's happening is that the whole 90s look is back, so the grunge look is back. And girls, younger girls are wearing these, and I've seen it many times out in public, but also because I know they're selling, they're wearing these kind of jeans, and then they're just like rolling them up and cuffing them on the bottom with the tapered leg, and they're wearing them with, you know, little t-shirts and flannel's back again for a bit. So I picked up in that big bag sale that we went to last Sunday, actually, I picked up 3 or 4 pair. So I paid less than $1 a piece for them, and I listed them last week. I already sold 2 of the 5. And I list them for $40 to $60, depending on the sizes. This particular pair sold. They sold for, they're just a basic light blue, Made in the USA Calvin Klein's.
Mom jeans.
Mom jeans, high-waisted. Don't call them mom jeans in the title. Some people do. That's an insult. Just call them 90s. If they're from the 90s, like vintage, grunge. I put grunge in there. And I sold them for $40. And they sold in like 2 days. And another pair sold for $50, and they sold in 2 days. So
see, now I would say to put mom jeans in the title because I mean, some people are calling it that, so they might look for it. But
high waist too. I wouldn't look at mom jeans.
The title, but that's just me.
All right, want me to do a couple more?
Yeah, do a couple more.
So for some reason, whenever we go and do yard sales, I end up with usually like some kind of specific item that I find over and over and over again on that particular day while we're yard selling. It's so weird. So apparently Friday was my day for hats, baseball hats. I don't know why. 3 yard sales, I picked up hats. I don't always buy hats. I know, sorry, Jerry Pendleton, if you're watching this, I know that you love hats, and I think of you when I buy hats. So my buddy Jerry, I'm probably going to ask you some questions on some of these hats. In any case, I picked up about 30 hats over the weekend. Easy to ship, easy to list. Easy to photograph. You do need a hat mannequin. You should get one. The little styrofoam heads are like $2. Buy one. And a lot of them are like new, old stock, vintage hats. This is a big thing. Like hipsters are totally love this look right now. And you know, usually the slightly curved brim or the flat brim, snapback, the old foam
trucker hat.
Exactly. Mesh back. You know, the nylon mesh back. Be careful when they're vintage that the foam is not disintegrated. Yeah. It's not worthless if it's disintegrated, but make sure you take it outside, bang it out, and get rid of it because that foam is like toxic. It's horrible. But in any case, these were new old stock. I paid 50 cents to $1 for each. And I'll probably list them for $39.95 and do free ship. And they ship for 8 ounces in a box. And that's it. And this is another one that I got. This one's not new. Well, it is new. It's not worn. It's definitely very clean, but it has some age spotting on the outside. But this is a very early 70s, late 70s, early 80s Anheuser-Busch logo flat hat.
Nice.
I'm going to list this one for about 50.
Very cool. Sherry is in the house. Hey, Sherry. Glad to see you here at a live video. I think it's the first time I've seen you over here in the chat. Totally excited to see you at eBay Open. Hopefully you guys are getting registered for that. And let me tell you, I see Donna Thrifts is here. She's saying hello from Scotland. Donna is coming all the way from Scotland to go to eBay Open this year. So
our friend Helen came from Australia last year, and there are a lot of people that make a long haul.
Yeah, I think that's pretty awesome. So we're really excited to see you guys, and of course we're already here in Vegas, so we will be at eBay Open.
Obviously, it's a little easier for us. I understand we don't have to pay for airfare, but if you're going to invest in yourself, invest in your business, it's worth it.
Absolutely. And last year I actually did travel to eBay Open. It's totally worth it. If you can make it work, if you need to buddy up and share like a hotel room, do whatever you can to make it possible if you can come, because I'm telling you, it's definitely worth it. The networking, the tools you get, the eBay people that you get to meet, the employees and execs. A lot of times they give out like tools, and they let you into programs that aren't quite ready for everyone else yet. Last year we got early entry into the guaranteed shipping program, so we got into it before fourth quarter started. So that was like super awesome, as well as the concierge customer service program,
which doesn't even exist yet for anyone else.
It really doesn't. You know
how many
times I see people posting on Facebook about like taking forever to get through on the phone to somebody, and then having a really hard time finding somebody who can help them. We don't even deal with that anymore because we got into the concierge program. The longest I've ever had to wait to talk to somebody is like 5 minutes. They always can help me, or they know where to direct me. It's like a really sweet, awesome elite program that we only got into because we went to eBay Open. So I'm telling you, it is well worth the money you spend on it. So if you want to come and hang out with us, we're going to be here. Sin City Hustlers, he's traveling all the way from here in Henderson to go as well. So that'll be really cool. So would love to see all you guys, or at least some of you guys, come, and we will all get together, and it's going to be a super awesome time.
And Cheryl says, life-changing, right, Katie?
It's very life-changing. I met this one over here. So what do you know?
Things happen.
Yep, it's true. All right. So
your turn.
Let's see. I'm going to talk about t-shirts. So I've already talked to you guys about Stussy before. Stussy is a streetwear brand, skate brand, came out around the same time as Massimo. Of course, they went their different directions, and Massimo became a Target brand, while Stussy stayed an exclusive kind of smaller brand. And so when we went to yard sales the other day, we hit this one where they had a ton of like streetwear type stuff, jackets and shoes and shirts, and she got some stuff there, a lot of skate clothing, a lot of snowboarding clothing. And one of the things that they had were some Stussy t-shirts. And so I ended up getting 4 t-shirts. They aren't necessarily vintage, they're like early mid 2000s. And so a couple of them are just regular ones, but a couple of them are collaboration t-shirts. Now, one of the things you want to look for, especially in streetwear, stuff that can end up being worth a lot more, is when they do a collaboration with like another brand or a designer, or they'll do it with like a musician or something like that, because those tend to be like more limited releases, and they're really hyped up and people want to get their hands on them, so they're worth more. So I got a couple of t-shirts. Now, one of them, this one is, it says, it's got the little Stussy crown logo, and it says of Las Vegas. And on the back, what's that?
Not Louis Vuitton?
No, it's not Louis Vuitton. Although I will say, speaking of streetwear, we were just talking recently about, I don't know if you know the brand Supreme, but it's like a super hyped streetwear thing where the t-shirts cost like at least $100, and it's like literally just their box logo. It's just a square on a t-shirt that says Supreme. Those can go for a couple $100 at least. I just recently saw one pop up. I follow Round 2, the store Round 2. They have a bunch of them, and they were showing this. It's the square logo, but it has the Louis Vuitton print pattern. That's, you see like on the purses and the wallets and stuff like that. So it's a square. It says Supreme, and it has that pattern. $2,000, you guys. $2,000 for a t-shirt. And
was it used?
No, this one was a new one, but I'm sure even a used one would be worth almost as much. So it's just that branding. It's all it is. It's the hype, the branding. Anyway, so this one, it says J Money times Stussy. It's got the X. That means it's a collaboration. This one, I don't know that it's worth anything. I looked it up. I don't know. I still need to do some more research. I'm not really sure what the J Money thing is. But still, I paid $1 for this t-shirt. So at the very least, I should be able to get, I think because it's some sort of collaboration, I'm hoping I can at least get like $40. We'll see. But one other one, so I got 4 altogether. The other 2 were, you know, just regular Stussy shirts. This one, this is the one. This is the special one right here. So this is Stussy.
Who's that dude?
And this dude is, his name is Jay Dilla. He was a rapper and a producer with Stone's Throw. You see right here, the dogs. Somebody asked about an appearance by the dogs. Apparently they are making an appearance by barking. So sorry, guys. Shh. So it says Stone's Throw. That is a record label. So Jay Dilla, I didn't know who Jay Dilla was, but I looked it up. He was a rapper and a producer. He died in 2006. He had some like medical issues, like some sort of blood issue or something. And so if you look at the back, it actually says Jay Dilla, 1974 to 2006. Shh, Grizz, why are you doing this to us? All right, she's a little yappy. Anyway, so this t-shirt, so I saw it, I'm like, I don't know what that is, but it's some sort of collaboration. It's obviously some sort of memorial t-shirt. I looked it up. Right now, there's only one listed like this. It looks like it's in better condition, potentially new condition. This one's a little bit dingy. The one listed that's white is listed for $250, and it has 12 watchers on it right now. There is a black version as well, and that one's listed for $150. And so this shirt right here, the only sold that I saw one sold that was over $100, but there's none available right now. So at the very least, I should be able to get 100. But since there's only one other white one posted right now and it is listed for $250, I'll probably try to get a couple hundred out of this one.
Yeah, I put it for 2.
But again, always be looking for vintage Stussy or any Stussy if you can pay only $1 for it for sure. But if you see something where it's clearly some sort of collaboration, snatch that thing up because it could be big money.
I'm like, I don't know who that dude is. I wouldn't have grabbed. Well, I would have grabbed it because it's Stussy and it was $1, but I wouldn't have necessarily.
Yes, Dana, I think Grizz is saying that she misses you. So Pam is asking, is Stussy just a West Coast thing? No, it's not just a West Coast thing. It definitely
it's out of the West Coast.
It came out of the West Coast, and that's kind of I don't know like how widely their stuff is. I mean, it's probably everywhere. But the thing about the West Coast is because it started there, I believe like their main stores are on the West Coast, so they do those outlet sales all over in California. And so that's pretty cool. That's where I picked up a bunch of stuff that I showed you guys like a week or 2 ago. But it definitely happened. Like in Oregon, I never found Stussy hardly ever. I think I found one Stussy t-shirt the whole time I was in Oregon. Since I've been down here, I regularly find Stussy stuff. I just, you know, there was that sweatshirt that I had found that I paid $3 for it. I sold it for $160. So Stussy definitely, just streetwear in general in the Vegas area and the California area, like you're going to find a lot more of that kind of.
We've got a lot of surfers and skaters. You know, that's definitely a West Coast thing versus an East Coast thing that you're asking, Pam. You're right, because the surfing, obviously there's not a heck of a lot of surfing on the East Coast. There's some, but it's a lot more dangerous and it's a lot there's a lot less of it, and very little skate stuff. It's just not an East Coast thing. So Pam is from Connecticut. I'm from Rhode Island. So this is the kind of stuff that you just didn't see a lot out there. Yeah. It's a whole different lifestyle and culture that you find on the West Coast. And even though we're not quite on the coast here in Vegas, we're real close. We're 30 minutes, 30 miles from the California border. And we get a lot of the same California culture, and a lot of people from California move here. And so I think that's why we find a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, although I think there's a lot more of it like on social media and stuff like that. So I think people are paying more attention to it. If you guys are interested in streetwear stuff and learning more about streetwear, one of the shows I would tell you to look for on YouTube, it's called The Show by Round 2. That's the store I was talking about. This guy, Sean Weatherspoon, he started Round 2. It was kind of like a thrift store. They started in Virginia. I don't know how many years ago, not too many years ago, but he started there. And he was just like a thrifter of like streetwear stuff. I've got my history right here. And so he opened the store, and that's where it started. Then he opened a second one in California, and it's like they will, people can come in. They have a lot of people who come in and bring stuff that they found at thrift stores, and they sell it to them, and then they turn around and sell it. So they do a lot of shoes and a lot of vintage streetwear, but they also work a lot with a lot of the streetwear companies like Supreme and Bape, like Bathing Ape stuff. And so now they've got Round 2 Hollywood, Round 2 in Virginia. They've got a website. They've got, if you go on Instagram, they're super active on Instagram, and you can find their website. You can find the different stores. They've got one's just for vintage stuff, one's just for like just new streetwear stuff. And but the show by round 2 is a YouTube. It's kind of like a reality show, sort of. They've got like a guy who comes and films like stuff going on, and it's got like a few seasons now, and it's just a great way to see like all the stuff that's really popular right now, like, and the way that they market their stuff. Like the night before, they will do like a picture of like all of the new shoes that they have in, new and used, like Jordans and just whatever is like really hot right now, and they'll show like, here's the 20 pairs of shoes that we have right now. We'll be opening at 11 a.m. and then the next morning at 11 a.m. you'll see a line down the street of like all these people just waiting to get in so they can buy the stuff that's become available. So it's a really awesome way to follow like what is popular right now, and like what the trends are, and what people are looking for, and how much money people are willing to spend on them. And I really feel like that show has played a large part in kind of increasing the popularity of thrifting in general. And like, because it is like, it's a whole lifestyle now. It's like, it's not just people reselling. Like there's a lot of like young guys and people like our age and like younger who are like really into like this lifestyle of going out and thrifting like 90s, 80s, 90s streetwear
to wear,
to wear themselves. So it's a big thing, and just like streetwear in general. Anyway, all right. So I've yapped enough. You want to show something else?
Jeez. Okay. So let's see, what else did I get? Oh, okay. So this was a garage sale find. And again, I know that we buy a lot of crap during the week, so we're not sitting here and doing 2 hours of every single thing that we purchased. But what I try to do, and I know what Katie tries to do, is we try to highlight something that we can teach you about, whether it's a topic, it's a brand, it's a style, whatever it might be. We'll try to pull something we found during the week that is not only a good item that we're going to flip for decent money, but also something that we can teach you about and tell you about, because everybody has their niches and everybody has their bread and butter stuff that's going to sell 15, 20, 25 bucks all day long. Nobody cares about that. I'm not here to tell you about something I bought for $1 and sold for 20. We all do it. But what I want to talk to you about, and what I think Katie wants to talk to you about, is the stuff that where you can, you know, purchase wisely, buy better stuff and flip it for more money. So, to that end, one of these items that I picked up is, I'm really into the whole rockabilly and pinup look. I like it myself. I like it on other people. I follow a lot of the brands and clothing lines on Instagram and Pinterest and Facebook and stuff like that. And one of the brands that sells really well, and I know my friend Daryl happens to sell this brand on her online store, which is called Forever Funky. This is a brand called Steady. It's a Steady clothing brand. And this is just a men's rockabilly bowling shirt. It's got a little pinup girl on it. It's a good size. It's an extra large. I bought this yesterday. It's a 2X, I'm sorry. I paid $4 for this at Savers yesterday, and I'm going to sell it for about $45. It's just a brand to keep an eye out for. They have men's clothing, but they also have women's clothing. And again, it's called Steady. Can you see that? Yeah. Just kind of cool.
It's a really cool
brand. I think it sells new for around 50 or 60.
And the whole pinup thing, rockabilly thing, is also very, very popular right now.
Yeah, so. I mean, I've been kind of dressing that way and for 10 years here and there, but it's definitely had a bit of a resurgence.
She thought it was cool before everyone else thought it was cool. So you guys, totally she was there first. So just back off, totally all right? Not. But now you can like it because she wants to sell it to you.
Yeah. Okay, so there's that. And then this is another thing I picked up at Savers yesterday. I really love buying sports and racing clothing. This is, I still need to do a little bit of research on this because honestly, I can't find a heck of a lot on it. But I looked quickly yesterday. Anyway, this is like a polo type shirt, and it's got patches all over it. And I think it is some type of Venezuelan baseball is what I was able to find by this Malton Polar, whatever. I think that is a player. I don't know. So I got to do a little bit more research, but there's all kinds of patches and things on it. I picked up 2 of these. But most of what I'm finding is not in English on the website, so I'm having some difficulty translating it. If anybody knows what this is, it's 2015, 2016, 70 years of something. I don't know what that little thing is. If anybody knows, let me know. Save me some time researching. But again, I paid $2.99. I bought 2 of these. I know I'm going to list them for at least $50 or $60. Once I figure out what they are, they might even be worth more. So
nice. All right. Sin City Hustlers wants to know if I shop or if we shop at Plato's Closet. So you just found out we have a couple here in Vegas. You know, I have not checked them out here in Vegas. I have gone to Buffalo Exchange here, and usually when we go to Buffalo Exchange, we find a few things that are cool. I mean, their prices are a bit higher, so that's kind of a place that you want to be pretty solid in your knowledge of like what sells, what doesn't sell, how much you can sell it for, because you're probably gonna have to pay a little bit more for it at a place like that as opposed to going to like the Bins or just a regular thrift store. We had a Plato's Closet in Salem, Oregon that I went to. I didn't really get much, like they didn't really have that much stuff. They had like kind of mid-level streetwear type stuff there that was popular, but nothing that was like really worth flipping for the prices that they were selling. But Buffalo Exchange is good. I mean, I should check out the Plato's Closet here because, you know, it just depends on the buyers.
I'm with Dana on that one, Broadzilla. Plato's Closet is overpriced. I've really never found anything of note in there, but I have done well here and there with Buffalo Exchange. They're getting there. Like she said, they try to be overpriced. It really depends on the staff members. Some staff members know what they're doing and know what they have, and they price things pretty high. There's not enough margin for flipping, but other times I've lucked out. So if I don't ever make it a destination to go because it's not worth my time to pick up 2 or 3 things. But if it happens to be, you know, right near something else I'm going to, I do like to pop into Buffalo Exchange.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of one of those areas where the better you get at this work and the more knowledgeable you become, and once you really understand like how much you can sell something for, it comes in handy when you go to places where they do price stuff a little bit too high, because there's stuff that sits there and doesn't get sold because people don't want to spend that much money. But if you know, like, oh, I'm gonna pay $20 for this thing, but I can sell it for 100, it's like it's worth it. Also, my friend Eddie, who just moved here to Vegas part-time from Anaheim, he's really good at building relationships with like Buffalo Exchange. I think he does some with Plato's, I'm not sure, but definitely Buffalo Exchange, where he talks to them and finds out exactly what it is that they're looking for. And what he'll do is when he's outsourcing, he will pick up stuff for super, super cheap that he knows they will take in trade. And he'll bring in a bunch of stuff and then he'll get credit and he'll use that to buy the stuff that normally, like if you're paying cash out of pocket, would be too much. So he's really good at kind of hustling that way and building those relationships that way. So it just kind of depends, but
that seems like too much work for me. But yeah, it's a good way to hustle. That makes sense. That makes sense.
I definitely found some fun stuff at the Buffalo here. I think we've gone twice.
Yeah, and
both times I found cool
me
stuff.
Too. Last time we went, maybe like a month or 2 ago, I picked up a couple of big pony polo shirts, and I think I paid $8 a piece for them there, and they both sold within a month for 50 or 60 each. So that was a good flip for me, but not usually.
All right, so the next thing I'm going to show you guys is I'm going to show you this Nike windbreaker. Now, the reason I'm showing you this, it's not necessarily this like amazing, spectacular find. It's a pullover windbreaker. It's Virginia Tech. I haven't even like looked it up to see how Virginia Tech stuff sells. This is the first time I've ever found a Virginia Tech jacket. So I don't know, maybe it sells well, maybe it doesn't. It's a nice Nike jacket. But the reason I wanted to show it to you guys.
Style.
What's that?
The style?
The style? No. Oh. I wanted to show you because of the tag. I wanted to do a little quick lesson on identifying the age of something by the tag, as far as Nike goes. Okay, so this tag right here, this is kind of like the Nike, see it's got the swoosh and it says team, Nike team. This is not vintage, it's getting close to being vintage. This is like early 2000s, so probably like 15 years old or so. But this is a nice jacket, and you know, Virginia Tech's a popular school, so I should be able to sell it for, I don't know, maybe like $30 or something like that, 30, 35. Nice jacket, right? So what I did is I went to my inventory and I pulled out a couple of other Nike windbreaker jackets so I can show you how to identify them by age. So let's just go backwards. So that was early 2000s. This right here, this is a full zip one. This is just a windbreaker jacket. It's got the nice big swoosh on the back. Nice. And then if you look at the tag right here, the tag is white and it's got this red, the red swoosh. This one's made in Malaysia. Sometimes they're made in the USA. This is mid 90s. So this is definitely vintage. So this is like mid 90s right here. Okay, so the next one I'm going to show you.
So it will sell for more because it's mid 90s. I would have priced that at about 60. Is that where you have it? 50, 60?
I would say maybe like 40 to 50. It just kind of depends on what it looks like. This next one, now this one's awesome looking. Check this out. I don't know if the color is coming through, but it's kind of like a sort of a hot pink.
Yeah, it looks orange.
It's almost, yeah, it looks orange on the screen, but it's like a pink. I don't know what it looks like on your guys' screen. But it's like this kind of hot neon kind of pink. This tag right here, okay, this tag, see, it's a gray tag with a red swoosh. You can't really see, this tag's like all washed out. This right here is what we refer to as the Jordan era. And so this, when you see a tag like this, is going to be late 80s, early 90s. So this is a really popular era right now for Nike clothing. So anytime you find a jacket or a t-shirt or anything with this particular tag, you want to grab it as long as it's not like too crazy priced. This particular one, I should be able to sell. I'm hoping to be able to sell close to $100. We'll see.
And yep, Mary, you're right. Color block. That would be color block.
Yeah. And so now I don't have any examples of any earlier stuff, but you might see like there's like a white tag that's kind of an orange swoosh, and you'll start to see it's kind of a little bit older looking. So what I would suggest that you do is go and Google Nike label history, and you look at like images, and usually you can find, there's quite a few examples out there of Nike stuff, and just start to get familiar with like how to age Nike sportswear based on the tags, because it really does help to know like anytime I see this, I'm like super excited because I know that it's going to be more desirable because of this particular tag. So yeah, so it's just your little lesson in Nike tags. Okay. So what do you got?
Okay, so I've got one more thing to show, which is just something that I picked up, Paul, and then I'm going to go into the really good things.
Okay.
So do you want to go? All right, whatever. I'll do this one first. It's big. I always have to stand up and get something that's big.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I always
you're always buying the big stuff.
All right.
So what's funny is this is from when we were doing our yard sales. And so when we do a yard sales, what I will do is the night before is I'll go through and look at everything at all the different
all right, it's heavy.
Sales. Okay, sorry. I'll look at all the different sales that are going on. And I actually saw this in the picture and I'm like, we got to go to that one because I know she's going to want it. And what do you know? She picked it up.
Yep, I paid $10 for it. It is a 1950s cooler chest. It's got a metal top, and inside it's by a company called Knapp Monarch. It's K-N-A-P-P. And then inside it's got like the aluminum lining. So it's pretty flippin' heavy, and it is banged up and rusted and a little bit roached out. But I paid $10 for it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to list it for about $150 free ship, and then I'm just going to ship it whatever the cheapest way is and hope somebody on the West Coast buys it. But most people are shipping it with calculated shipping, and the shipping online for these are like anywhere from $25 to $90 for people. So definitely this can go a lot cheaper than that. I can put this into a box. It's not like it's going to break, and put it in a box, and I'll probably send it FedEx Ground. But I would say it's almost 20 pounds.
Heavy.
So I expect to net on that, about $100.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little better.
All right.
Should we go stuff? You want to go?
Is your next thing your shoes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'll show a couple things and then we'll end it with Victoria's last find, because she's got some cool stuff that she found.
I think I have the finds of the week.
Yeah, I think so too. For sure. Because my find of the week was, if you went on my sourcing trip, my Thursday sourcing trip this week, was probably that Eddie Bauer vintage down jacket.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping I can sell for like $150, $200. All right. So I'm going to show you guys.
Oh, while she's pulling that, the other thing, the market for those coolers, by the way, it's vintage. So it's from the 50s. The market for that is going to be, it's mid-century. It's retro. Retro doesn't necessarily mean vintage. Retro means it looks vintage. But I would be using that in the title anyway, because a lot of people use it interchangeably. So the people that are looking for it are going to look for it. So retro, vintage. Also, I'm going to put glamping. People that are really into retrofitting and re-outfitting RVs and campers and trailers and doing it in that whole 50s, 60s housewife thing, that is perfect for that.
Glamping.
Glamping.
That's silly. All right. So at that same sale, we're at the Stussy stuff. Like I said, there was a bunch of snowboarding stuff. And so I'm going to share this one with you because this is a brand I didn't know. But it is called, was it 32? 32. Hold this back. You see that? So when I saw it, I just like the color. I liked that it had like the whole like spell out going all the way down the front of it. I went up to it and
does this say 30? Is that what that
says? 32.
Jesus.
Yeah, it says 30.
I can barely read this.
It says 32.
I'll show you. Come on, make your logos readable.
Whatever. It's cool. This is what the tag inside looks like. 32. So I'd never heard of this brand. But it seems like a really heavy, like well-made jacket. It looks really cool. So I was able to look it up really quick, and I realized that these jackets sell for over $100. I don't know exactly how much I'm going to list this one for. I'll probably have to do a little bit more research. The tag does have what the style is on it. I think that I looked down below, and it actually says Shiloh 2.0 shell jacket. So that's helpful for looking up exactly how much you should go for. But it was very much like they were all like in the hundreds. As far as how much it would sell for. So I went ahead and there were two different jackets that I was interested in. She wanted $25 for each. I wasn't willing to pay $25 for the other one, but this one I definitely thought was worth paying $25 for. So yeah, 32, a good snowboarding brand. And I was definitely stoked to see how this one does when I'm listing it during our listing party. Let's show one more thing. So Polo Ralph Lauren. I don't really buy the regular polo shirts that much. I think our first haul video, I showed you some that I did buy. So it really depends on like the color and like.
You got those cheaply though.
Yeah, I got them really cheap. Depends on like the color or the pattern on them. It just really depends. But one thing you should always, always, always be buying is the polo rugby shirts. So this is like a long sleeve polo collar. But if you notice, it's padded on the shoulders. I don't know how well you can see that. It's got like this extra material on the shoulders and also on the elbow. Okay. So if you see a shirt like this, it's very thick cotton. So this is like a rugby, like an actual rugby shirt. And these ones actually do really, really well, especially if you can get like a really good like color blocking on it or like stripe. This one's just plain black but I still think I should be able to sell it for, I don't know, at least like 50, I hope.
What'd you pay for it?
This one, I mean, I think I only paid like $5 or $6 for it. I don't have the tag on it anymore. But I don't know, what would you sell it for?
Yeah, I would list it probably 59 or 69. Yeah.
But these are definitely going to go.
It's a good size. Is it a large or extra large?
It is. It's actually an XL, so it's a great size.
Yeah, 59 or 69. I'd list it for that all day long.
And really, rugby shirts in general, and even if they don't have the padding, just like the long sleeve with the polo collar. Especially if it has some sort of team, like I just sold a rugby, it was like a Springboks, which is like a South African rugby team. I just sold that for like $40. So just like rugby shirts in general tend to sell really well. So if you see them and they're a good price, great. If you see them and they're a Polo Ralph Lauren, even better. So make sure you use that for sure.
Let's see, we've got a few questions in here. Let's see. Do you sell winter jackets like that all year? Yes. Yes, I don't ever take anything down for seasons. I don't think Katie does either. I list everything and anything all year long. It sells. Christmas sells in July. It sells in August. Winter coats sell in July. You've got somebody, if you're selling worldwide, it is winter somewhere, everywhere, every time of the year.
Yep. And there's people who collect too, and they just, I sold my first year selling. I didn't even have 1,000 items in my store yet. And that summer I sold over 90 jackets over that first summer. This last summer, I don't even know how many I sold, but I'm sure it was like 150 or more. But yeah, jackets are like my favorite thing to thrift, which is probably going to make it harder to find stuff here in Vegas in the summertime. But I'm hoping there's at least a couple savers that still have decent jackets, and hopefully, you know, people are getting rid of their jackets in the summertime. So I'm hoping I can still keep finding those, because those are kind of my favorite thing to flip, because I can usually get them for a decent price and sell them for a lot. So they're my favorite.
Let's see, is Eddie Bauer a Bolo brand or just in certain things? Not a Bolo brand for sure, but it's vintage Eddie Bauer. Yeah, it depends. Jackets, vintage luggage, and vintage. I want to say like vintage work boots. Mostly the men's clothing. I haven't sold a lot of vintage women's worth a heck of a lot. Vintage men's
vintage
stuff.
Jackets,
and I mean 80s and earlier vintage.
And here's the thing: if you're ever curious about like a certain brand, just go to eBay, put in vintage Eddie Bauer, and then like you know, make it like as generic as possible of a search. So just vintage Eddie Bauer, and then go and look at like men's, and go and look at coats and jackets, and then just do sort it solds highest to lowest. And you're going to see what is the stuff that's getting hundreds of dollars, and then just like go down, and you'll start to notice. Same thing with like Tommy Hilfiger. If you do Tommy Hilfiger vintage 90s, sort by, you know, or just vintage in general, sort the solds by highest price to lowest, and just start going down. You're going to see a lot of repeats. Same with Pendleton. That's what we're talking about, like with the Pendleton jackets. If you look at men's jackets at Pendleton and you go highest to lowest, your top, I don't even know how many results, is all going to be like Southwest print jackets. So you're going to start to see, like, just start to explore brands like that, and just look at them and look at the solds highest to lowest, and you will see what are the types that sell a lot. That's the best way to like start to figure it out.
Correct. And Dan, that sounds like a heck of a deal. He likes the cooler. He wants to make me an offer of $5 with free shipping. I don't know. It's tempting.
It sounds like Dan is a gambling man. And he's gambling, and I think he's going to lose that gamble. But you will take $5.
I think he may. And let's see. The Orvis and LL Bean, Mary, you're absolutely right. Yeah, vintage Orvis and vintage LL Bean both do very well as well.
But again, go and look at those brands and look at sold, sort by highest to lowest, and really start to learn what exactly it is that sells of those, because there's a lot of LL Bean and Orvis it's not going to sell.
Right.
So you really want to get familiar with like, what are you looking for as far as styles go?
Okay, so lastly, I'm just going to show 3 of the items that I've purchased. This one particular sale that we went to, where she bought the Stussy t-shirts and that 32 or 33, 32 jacket, and a couple of other streetwear things. She really scored on some clothing there. I really scored on the shoes. So this person was a collector. He clearly had tons and tons of clothing, and unfortunately it was his mother was having the sale, and I believe he passed away.
Yeah.
But what he had there was from early to mid 2000s. So there wasn't anything super current. So my thoughts is that he may have passed away a little while ago. We didn't ask, obviously, none of my business, but it was clear that it was difficult for her, and she was selling her deceased son's items. So in any case, what I picked up was about 10 pairs of shoes at $5 a piece. Now, because he was so into these brands and into skating brands and things like that and streetwear, he had some really good shoes. Now, they were all vintage, not vintage, they were all high end. So this is, a lot of people will pick up stuff for, a lot of people like to sell Clarks. Clarks is a brand that people know is moderately priced. Clarks shoes sell really well. They're usually comfort shoes. You can usually pick up a pair of Clarks for women very cheaply. If you can get them for under $5, you can flip them easy, bread and butter, $30 to $40 all day long, sometimes a little bit more. For me, that's not usually enough profit, so I don't always do that, but I will occasionally if I find them cheap enough. Men's, on the other hand, these are called wallabies. You might recognize the style as kind of like a chukka boot. It's like an ankle boot. These are men's, and these are made by Clarks. They're wallabies. It's a style that's been around for quite a while. This particular style, these are blue and they're suede and they're in great shape. I picked up 6 pairs of all different colors, and it says right in the side what year they're made. These particular ones are from 2000. I paid $5. I'm probably going to sell them for about $100. So that was
nice.
They're in great shape. They look a little bit, wrinkled, but they're very clean.
And with those ones, speaking of collaborations,
I didn't quite get there yet, but yes, the Clarks Wallabies, there are some collaborations. If you look at those, I didn't realize that those were streetwear until I started looking them up a little bit more. But the streetwear ones, they had some collaborations with Wu-Tang. If you can find any Wu-Tang Clan branded, they had a few that were, what else did I say? I think Stussy was one that they actually had a collaboration with. If you find those, they sell for really good money. And it's not something else. If somebody wants to, vintage movie, yes, look up. We're going to see most of them are going to be the collaborations. Okay, so $5 for those. And like I said, I'll sell them for over $100. Now, these 2 were my finds of the week, and they're probably my finds of the last couple of months. They were pretty good for me. And Trader Don, who commented on Katie's photo, who was not in the live chat but may see this later, did he see something that said "Yo" as in MTV Raps? Well, yes, he did. These are Puma sneakers that are Yo MTV Raps. There is a version of these that have been made. There's a couple versions, but this particular version is MC Sean. And it's got some bridges on the side. These are in a really good size, a size 13. It's just a collaboration that was done by Puma. This particular pair, it's pretty clean. Once I clean up the edges of the soles, the suede is in good shape. I am going to sell these. I paid $5. I'm going to sell these for about $200. I'm going to put them up for $250 or best offer. I don't do best offer very often, but in this case I will, just because I'll be willing to take a little bit less depending on you know, any offers that roll in. But I'll probably sell them for around $200. So Yo MTV wraps. I picked them up just because I thought they were cool. I knew they'd be worth over $5, so I didn't look them up on site or anything. So I'm kind of psyched about those.
Nice.
And then these are even better. These are a little bit beat up, but these are Vans, high top Vans. Again, nothing real special about Vans. They've been making them for years. What's real special about these is that this is a collaboration, a skate brand. Vans is a skate brand to begin with, but this is a collaboration with Bad Brains. Again, I knew nothing till I looked it up. So Bad Brains and Vans. Somebody wants to look those up. There's a couple of different styles. These are a little bit more beat up because they're a little dirty on the back. I'm going to see what I can to try and clean them. They're not canvas, so I'm not throwing them in the washing machine. They're suede. Those are size 13. They're skate sneaker. I guess they're high tops. Again, paid $5 for them. I'm going to list those for about $2.99 or best offer.
Awesome.
There are none in this size. There's only one other pair listed right now in a much smaller size. And they're listed for, I think, higher than the $2.99. So, and how do I clean them? Well, I'm going to clean the suede with a combination of dish soap, Dawn dish detergent, and like a light toothbrush. And the whites, I'm going to try that a little bit first, but generally the white, I'll use just a magic eraser on the soles and the rubber on the sides.
Yeah.
And
all right.
That's what I got.
I think that's it for our finds. Somebody, I believe it was the Violet Lemon, not the Violent Lemon, although I like to say Violent. I think that's a really cool name. Anyway, she was asking, well, I guess I'm assuming it's a woman, but they were asking about the listing challenge and whether or not it is going to be only in the group or just live online. So basically anyone can participate in it. You don't have to be in the Boss Facebook group. If you're in the Boss Facebook group, you'll get to participate a little bit more because we're going to have a dedicated thread every day, tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday for the listing challenge. So you'll get to participate a little bit more in the camaraderie of it and like setting your goals and like checking in to say how you're doing. But you can totally do it on your own. Again, tomorrow it's going to be from noon to 5, Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and Wednesday from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. all Pacific Standard Time. And we're going to be doing a live show, which is the other part that you can participate in even if you're not in the Boss group. We'll be doing a live YouTube check-in 1 hour each day. Tomorrow that will be at 2 p.m. On Tuesday it will be at 11 a.m. and on Wednesday we'll be closing the whole thing down in the last hour at 7 p.m. again all Pacific time. So if you want to participate, even if it's just to do it on your own and then check in on those live shows, or even if you completely only participate on your own and you can like participate by just commenting below the videos after the live shows are over, you can do it any way that you want to. It's really just a way to hopefully help people get a little bit more motivated and energized and have some interactions with each other and set some goals and like really start the month of April out with a bang. So however you guys want to participate, you can do that. But I would suggest that you join the Boss group. It's a really fun group. You can interact there. Also, again, I just started a new personal Instagram account because my A Boutique for Him Instagram account is really more for my buyers. And so I just started one just under my own name at Katie Zilverberg on Instagram. And that's more me as a thrifter for the selling community. So if you guys want to follow me, all of the links are down below. So if you want to follow me on that Instagram, the Katie Zilverberg Instagram, you can see kind of more about like what's going on a daily basis and get more updates about everything. And of course, all of Victoria's links are going to be down below here as well.
I'm far less interesting. I don't run a group. I'm in the group.
Whatever.
I'm just going to do the hauls and yeah, that kind of stuff because I think that's fun.
All right, so I think that's just about it. We're just over, we've already gone over an hour, so I won't keep you guys any longer. Thank you so much. We got 43 people watching now. I have no idea how much it was at the peak, but I think that's a lot of people to be watching live, and I really appreciate you guys coming and spending your Sunday afternoon, early evening with us, wherever you are. I guess if you're in Scotland, it's like really late at night. I don't even know what time it is over there. But thank you so much for coming and joining us live and participating. And, you know, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't like it, you can give it a thumbs down, but you're going to make me a little bit sad inside, but that's okay. Join us on Boss Facebook group, and please come back again next week when we will be doing another live haul. And
we'll have all new prep.
Absolutely.
I mean, wonderful things.
Wonderful things. And of course, join us for the listening challenge. So if you do that, we will see you tomorrow on the show when we do the live show at 2 p.m. tomorrow. All right. Thank you so much, guys. And we are out of here. Bye.